Many of you have been asking the question, why did God put a gun in my hand? It feels very natural. It almost feels like there's nothing wrong with it. It feels like something's actually very right with it. So why is it God did this? Well, let's start with the very first sin on the planet Earth was disobedience to God, but the second sin was murder. And ever since then, wickedness has tried to destroy the men and women of God. From the days of Noah, the Nephilim, who were of wickedness, they devoured mankind. They mutilated mankind. It even says that they literally ate mankind when mankind couldn't keep up as slaves, when they couldn't feed them through farming and losing all their food, that they literally ate them. And then from there, you have the days of the prophets of God. All of them were hunted down like criminals and killed. The ones who made it were the great prophets of God, who spent some of their greatest prophecies fleeing for their lives. From then you had all men and women of God. Somebody like David, who from the moment that stone left that sling and he stepped forward into that thing, that destiny that God had for him, he had a sword in his hand until the day that he died as an old man. Literally, there were moments where people had to take him and flee while they carried him in his bed. He was so old while people tried to kill him. Jesus came to redeem mankind, and the Bible tells us that right as he finished his ministry, that the high priest and all the officials of the temple, they sought to capture him through trickery and kill him. And Jesus, in just a few nights later, looked his disciples in the eyes and said, "You need a sword. And you need a self-defense weapon." And the word they said was a dagger. It was like a concealed carry thing. He said, "You need this." And then after he was killed, every single disciple was hunted down and killed, except for John, who they tried to kill him, but he lived through that. And then he was delivered into just being an outcast on an island for the rest of his life. But beyond that, you're to protect the least of these. You have an obligation as a Christian to protect those around you, protect those that your loved ones, and even to protect your neighbors. You're to love your neighbors. And there is no greater love than you can show your neighbors than defending them with your life. This is why God put a gun in your hand. It feels natural. It feels right because it is right. It's unfortunately natural. It's sad that it's that way, but it is that way. It always has and always will until Christ returns. So when you ask yourself again, why did God put a gun in your hand? Because you were meant to be a protector. You were meant to defend the defenseless. You were defenseless. You were meant to defend the widows and the orphans and the least of these. That's what you were meant to do. That's what Jesus came to do. That's what we're all, it's the natural God-given abilities that we have here on earth. Once wickedness entered this world, again, the second sin was murder. The first was disobedience, the second was murder, and nothing's let up since then. So why did God put a gun in your hand? Well, that's why. So embrace it, enjoy it, appreciate that he did that for you, appreciate that he calls you out for that thing. Any thoughts or insight on any of that, definitely put that below. I do want to take a moment and say most people watch this channel, they're not subscribers. Click that subscribe button. It greatly increases the algorithm and our ability to get these messages out. That link is below. But the most important part of this channel is we take prayer requests, so please don't ever hesitate to send that in. Thank you for watching this episode of God, Family, and Guns. And as always, love God, love your family, and love guns.